Imagine you wake up one morning, look in the mirror, and instead of seeing just you see someone who actually believes they can pull off this whole life thing. Wild idea, right? But that tiny spark, that little nod that says, yeah, I can do this, is basically the engine that drives every success story you've ever heard. And no, it's not magic, and it's not because those people were born with a special glow or raised on organic positivity juice. It's because somewhere along the line, they decided to believe in themselves, even if the belief started small, shaky, and wearing duct tape as confidence armor. Self-belief works like the Wi-Fi signal of your brain. You don't always see it. You definitely lose it in certain locations, like around people who doubt you or when you're hungry. But when it's strong, everything runs smoother. You take actions you normally wouldn't. You try things you'd usually talk yourself out of. You stop letting fear drive the car. Even though fear will still try to sit in the passenger seat giving unwanted directions, like a GPS that's had too much caffeine. But belief is the permission slip you sign for yourself. It says, I may not know everything, but I know I'm capable of learning and growing. So, let's roll. Now, here's the funny part. People often think success starts with opportunity. Like, if someone handed you a suitcase full of chances, new job, dream connection, golden tickets to success, you'd suddenly become this upgraded version of yourself. Spoiler alert, you wouldn't. You'd still be you, trying to figure out why the suitcase is buzzing and if opportunity comes with the return label. Opportunity doesn't matter if you don't believe you're someone who can use it. It's like giving a state-of-the-art blender to someone who's afraid to plug it in. Great tool, zero smoothie. Education is the same way. You can read every book in the library, watch all the motivational videos, take notes like you're preparing for the confidence final exam, but if deep down you're convinced you're not good enough, it won't stick. It'll be like pouring water into a bucket with a hole in the bottom. Self-belief is the bucket. Without it, everything leaks out the moment life pokes at your insecurities. But when you have it, even a small amount, you start holding on to the knowledge, the lessons, the opportunities long enough to actually use them. The coolest thing about self-belief is that it rarely arrives fully formed. Nobody wakes up sounding like a motivational speaker no matter how many times they watch one. Usually, belief starts as a whisper, a quiet suggestion, something like, maybe, just maybe, I don't suck as much as I thought I did. And that's enough to begin. You build confidence the same way you build muscle, by using it. And just like going to the gym, the early reps feel awkward and you're pretty sure everyone's watching. They're not. But as you keep pushing, one little success leads to another. Suddenly you can lift things, metaphorically and literally, you didn't imagine you could handle. And yes, there will always be days you don't feel confident at all. Days when your brain serves you its greatest hits. What if you fail? What if you look dumb? What if people judge you? Classic tracks, 5 stars. But self-belief isn't the absence of doubt. It's the courage to move anyway. Like saying, okay, worry, I hear you, but I'm still gonna go for it, so buckle up. You don't need to feel confident every second. You just need enough belief to take the next step. Self-belief also changes how you see yourself, and that changes how you show up in the world. Instead of shrinking, you expand. Instead of talking yourself out of the thing you want, you start brainstorming how to go after it. You stand up straighter, speak clearer, and even feel a little taller, like your soul is wearing good shoes. And people notice. Not in a weird, something is different about you, movie trailer way. More like they sense that you trust yourself, so they start trusting you too. Confidence is contagious, and people can feel it even before you say a word. Look at any person who's built something meaningful. An athlete, a business owner, a musician, an inventor. Somewhere in their timeline, before the awards and accomplishments and dramatic highlight reels, they had a moment where they simply decided, I'm capable. That was the first domino. Not the talent, not the opportunity, not the education, belief. That's the one ingredient nobody else can give you and nobody else can take away. It's your inner superpower. And yes, you actually have one. Here's another truth. Believing in yourself isn't arrogant, unrealistic, or delusional. It doesn't mean pretending you're perfect or ignoring your flaws. Self-belief isn't about thinking you're the best. It's about knowing you're capable of becoming better. It's a practical decision, a strategy, a life skill. Something that says, I deserve to try. When you get that part down, everything else, skills, confidence, opportunities, success, starts to stack up like building blocks. And let's be real, you've already done countless things in your life that required self-belief. You just don't give yourself credit for them. Learning to walk? That took confidence. You kept falling and got back up anyway. Riding a bike? Terrifying at first. Making friends? Applying for jobs? Going through hard times and still showing up for your life? All confidence, all belief. You're already more capable than you realize. You've been proving it for years in small ways you probably forgot about. So if the idea of self-belief feels big or overwhelming, don't treat it like a giant mountain you have to scale in one heroic leap. Start tiny. Think of one thing, one skill, one dream, one habit you believe you can improve just a little. Stick with it. Watch yourself grow. And as that belief expands, so will everything else around it. You'll start noticing opportunities you used to overlook. You'll feel braver. You'll make decisions from a place of possibility instead of fear. And slowly but surely, you'll realize that the most powerful part of any success story, the part that flips the switch, unlocks the door, launches the next chapter, is simply the moment you decide to believe in yourself. Because once you believe you can, the world has a funny way of agreeing with you.
Picture this. You're sitting on your couch, scrolling through your phone, half convinced that the people who made it must have had some secret cheat code. Rich parents, magic timing, a fairy godmother with a clipboard and a 5-year success plan. It's tempting to think success is some cosmic raffle and you just haven't had your number called yet. But the truth, brace yourself, is way less glamorous and way more empowering. Success is a personal responsibility. Yep, yours, mine, everybody's. And before you sign dramatically or throw a pillow, hear me out, because this is actually good news. It means you don't have to wait for luck, approval, or a unicorn blessing ceremony. You can take ownership of your life starting today, in whatever messy, imperfect, I'm figuring it out as I go way you need to. Taking ownership basically means stepping into the role of CEO of your own existence. Not the fancy corporate Golf on Friday CEO, but the kind who actually signs off on decisions, takes accountability, and doesn't blame the weather, the economy, or Mercury in retrograde for why things aren't happening. People who succeed consistently have one thing in common. They treat their effort like a bank account they control. They make deposits, daily actions, decisions, habits, risks, uncomfortable conversations, and those deposits eventually pay off. No magic required, no inheritance necessary, just effort plus ownership equals results. Even the people who were born into opportunity still had to take action, or they'd be sitting on a pile of gold doing absolutely nothing except disappointing their ancestors. Opportunity without ownership is like having a gym membership, but using it only to take selfies in the mirror. It looks like something is happening, but nothing is happening. Let's be honest. Waiting for luck feels easier. It's comfy. You don't have to take risks. You don't have to deal with failure. You don't have to admit when you dropped the ball, forgot the plan, or procrastinated so hard you accidentally finished a whole TV series in one sitting. But waiting for luck is basically handing your life to the universe and saying, "Surprise me." And the universe is chaotic. It will surprise you, but not with the curated blessings you imagined. Taking ownership, on the other hand, means grabbing the steering wheel of your life. even if you don't fully know how to drive yet, and learning as you go. People have done crazier things with less knowledge. You'll be fine. The real glow-up happens when you realize that ownership gives you control, and control gives you confidence. Suddenly, you don't feel like life is tossing you around like a sock in a washing machine. You feel grounded, capable, a little dangerous in a good way. You start to trust your ability to create change instead of waiting for it. You stop blaming circumstances because you understand that your response is where your power actually lives. You stop saying, "Why me?" and start saying, "Watch me." And honestly, problem-solving mode makes you feel a lot more powerful than sulking mode, even though sulking mode comes with snacks. People who succeed consistently have one thing in common. They treat their effort like a bank account they control. They make deposits, daily actions, decisions, habits, risks, uncomfortable conversations, and those deposits eventually pay off. No magic required, no inheritance necessary. Just effort plus ownership equals results. Even the people who were born into opportunity still had to take action, or they'd be sitting on a pile of gold doing absolutely nothing except disappointing their ancestors. Opportunity without ownership is like having a gym membership but using it only to take selfies in the mirror. It looks like something is happening, but nothing is happening. Let's be honest. Waiting for luck feels easier. It's comfy. You don't have to take risks. You don't have to deal with failure. You don't have to admit when you dropped the ball, forgot the plan, or procrastinated so hard you accidentally finished a whole TV series in one sitting. But waiting for luck is basically handing your life to the universe and saying, "Surprise me." And the universe is chaotic. It will surprise you, but not with the curated blessings you imagined. Taking ownership, on the other hand, means grabbing the steering wheel of your life, even if you don't fully know how to drive yet, and learning as you go. People have done crazier things with less knowledge. You'll be fine. The real glow-up happens when you realize that ownership gives you control, and control gives you confidence. Suddenly, you don't feel like life is tossing you around like a sock in a washing machine. You feel grounded, capable, a little dangerous in a good way. You start to trust your ability to create change instead of waiting for it. You stop blaming circumstances because you understand that your response is where your power actually lives. You stop saying, "Why me?" and start saying, "Watch me." And yes, taking ownership of your life can be uncomfortable at first. It means admitting when you're the one standing in your own way. It means acknowledging that sometimes you didn't try, you didn't plan, or you didn't follow through, and that's why the result isn't what you wanted. But once you get past the ego bruise, and everyone gets one, you'll feel this weird, unexpected freedom. Because the moment you realize you caused some of the mess, you also realize you can fix it. If you were powerful enough to sabotage yourself, imagine how powerful you'll be when you start supporting yourself. Plus, acting instead of reacting turns you into someone people respect, trust, and look up to. Not because you're perfect, but because you're accountable, reliable. You're the person who shows up, adjusts, recalibrates, tries again. You stop living based on emotion and start living based on intention. That shift alone can change your entire trajectory. It turns you from a passenger to a driver, from a wanderer to a builder, from maybe one day to let's make today count. Ownership also creates momentum. You do one small thing, it leads to another, and suddenly you're on a roll. The energy shifts. Opportunities start showing up not because you got lucky, but because you became someone who notices them, seeks them, and is prepared for them. Success isn't an accident. It's a byproduct of consistent ownership. Even small steps add up. Even tiny decisions matter. Every action you take is like casting a vote for the person you want to become. And the more votes you cast, the easier it is to believe that person exists and that they're you. So taking ownership isn't a punishment, it's a privilege. It's you choosing to be the main character in your own story instead of a background actor in someone else's. It's you refusing to let life just happen to you. It's you deciding day by day to act instead of react, to lead instead of follow, to create instead of wait. And even though it doesn't come with a trophy or a spotlight, it leads to something way better. A life that is undeniably, unmistakably yours. Because success, it's not luck, it's leadership, self-leadership. And the moment you take ownership, you become the boss of your own future. And honestly, you're a way better boss than luck ever was.
Imagine if success were like ordering at a drive-thru. Everybody else is out here yelling into the speaker, "I'll take the billionaire combo with a side of six-pack abs of the mentioned shake." Meanwhile, you pull up thinking, "Honestly, I just like a peaceful life, good coffee, and maybe someone who understands my sarcastic humor." But society keeps trying to shove its oversized, greasy definition of success into your hands like a fast food bag you didn't order. And the wild part? Most people take it. Not because they want it, but because it's the only menu they've been shown. That's why defining success for yourself is such a game changer. It's like creating your own custom order in the drive-thru of life. Extra clarity, hold the expectations. The truth is, society's idea of success is loud, glittery, and honestly kind of exhausting. It usually boils down to make a ton of money, look fabulous doing it, stay busy enough to brag about it, and possess achievements that make strangers on the internet nod approvingly. But let's be real, just because the world is impressed doesn't mean you will be happy. You can climb the ladder everyone says is right, and then look around from the top and realize you didn't even want to be on that ladder. You just climbed it because somebody told you the view was amazing. Spoiler, sometimes the view is overrated, windy, and there's no snack bar. That's why defining success personally is such a game changer. It means you stop sprinting toward goals that don't actually belong to you. It means you stop checking society's scoreboard and start checking your own heart, your preferences, your values, your priorities, your weird little quirks. It means you stop comparing your journey to your cousin, your coworker, or that kid you went to high school with who now sells motivational hoodies. Success stops being this giant, stressful, mysterious thing and becomes something much closer to home, something that actually fits you. When you define success for yourself, you start asking better questions. Not what will make me look successful, but what will make me feel alive. Not what should I want, but what do I actually want? Not what will impress people, but what will fulfill me. And listen, those questions are uncomfortable at first because they force you to face yourself, your real self, not the social media approved version. But once you start being honest, your entire mindset shifts. You get clearer, calmer. Life becomes less about performing and more about living. And guess what? Your definition of success doesn't have to sound like anyone else's. Success might be raising a family you adore. Success might be owning a business that serves your community. Success might be waking up without an alarm clock. It might be traveling the world or never leaving your hometown. It might be financial security, creative freedom, emotional peace, or the ability to take a nap at 3 p.m. without guilt. It might be being the person your younger self would be proud of, or the person your future self will thank. Success doesn't need glitter or applause. It needs meaning, your meaning. The funny thing is, once you define success for yourself, you stop feeling behind. You stop feeling like you're not doing enough or not achieving fast enough. You realize there isn't a universal scoreboard where everyone is being ranked. Life is not a competition unless you turn it into one. And even then, against who? Who exactly are you trying to beat? Karen from Instagram with the perfect kitchen backsplash? The college friend with the luxury car payment and the anxiety that comes with it? The imaginary version of yourself from a parallel universe? That's not winning, that's stress cardio. When you define success personally, you also get to experience something magical. Joy without permission. You don't need approval to be proud of your life. You don't need society to clap for your milestones. You can feel fulfilled even if your accomplishments don't trend. It's like building a house with the exact rooms you want instead of moving into one with a layout that annoys you every day. It's customized happiness, tailor-made achievement, a life that feels like it fits your soul instead of squeezing into something tight just because everyone else is doing it. And here's the kicker. Personal success evolves. What you wanted at 20 might not be what you want at 30 or 50. Success might shift as you grow, heal, learn, and become more honest with yourself. And that's okay, healthy even. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to dream new dreams. You're allowed to say, that mattered once, it doesn't anymore. Growth is not a betrayal of your past, it's a gift to your future. People who define success personally tend to move through life with a lot more peace. They're not constantly looking sideways to see what everyone else is doing. They stay in their own lane, not because they're scared to compete, but because they finally realize their lane is the only one that makes sense for them. When you know what success means to you, choices become easier. You don't say yes to everything. You don't chase every shiny opportunity. You don't get distracted by trends. You pick what aligns, you pass on what doesn't. You're not confused, you're intentional. And here's the fun part. When you live life according to your own definition of success, you become someone who inspires others without even trying. People can feel authenticity. They can sense when you're happy, grounded, and fulfilled in a way that doesn't require bragging. It's like watching someone dance like no one's watching, except you're not dancing, you're just living honestly. And people love that. At the end of the day, defining success personally is about reclaiming your life. It's about saying, I'm done starring in a movie someone else wrote, I'm writing my own script now. It's about giving yourself permission to want what you want, even if it doesn't look flashy or traditional. It's about choosing fulfillment over approval, purpose over pressure, joy over comparison. And honestly, life gets a whole lot lighter once you stop carrying society's expectations on your back like a refrigerator strapped with duct tape. Let everyone else chase whatever version of success they think looks good on paper. You get to chase what feels good in your soul. And that right there, that freedom, that clarity, that personal definition is success in its purest form.
Imagine trying to go on a cross-country road trip without a map, GPS, or even the slightest clue which direction is west. You'd be out there burning gas, making wrong turns, stopping at gas stations, asking for directions like it's 1983, and eventually ending up in a cornfield wondering where your life went sideways. That's what life feels like when you don't have clear goals. A blurry adventure with lots of activity, but not a whole lot of actual progress. Vision and goal setting, on the other hand, give you the roadmap, the GPS, the turn left in 300 feet voice in your head that keeps you from driving straight into confusion. Goals give direction, purpose, and a sense of, yeah, I actually know where I'm going, even when the road gets bumpy enough to make your brain vibrate. Clear goals are basically your future self sending you a memo that says, hey, here's where we're headed. Don't get distracted, don't panic, and please stop wandering around like you're studying the scenery. When you know what you want, even vaguely, life gets easier because decisions make more sense. You stop wasting time on things that don't move you closer to that vision. You stop saying yes to everything. You stop chasing random nonsense that looks shiny but leads nowhere. Goals filter your choices. They turn the chaos into a direction. It's like going from, I guess I'll just wing it, to, here's the plan, here's the mission, and here's why I'm actually excited to get out of bed today. But the real magic comes from the vision part, actually picturing the end result. Humans are visual creatures. We don't get excited by vague ideas like, I want to be successful. That's not a vision, that's a screensaver. What does success look like? Where are you? What are you doing? How does it feel? When you start imagining the details, your brain does something wild. It begins to believe it's possible. It starts treating your vision like a destination instead of a fantasy. It's like mentally test driving your future before you even get the keys. Visualization is basically your mind's version of motivational caffeine. When you can see the finish line clearly, vividly, almost like a movie trailer, it becomes way harder to quit halfway. Suddenly, effort feels worth it. Challenges feel temporary. Failure becomes a plot twist instead of a dead end. During tough times, your vision is like the friend who says, listen, I know it sucks right now, but do you remember why you started? And that reminder, That mental snapshot of the life you want is what keeps you from tapping out when things get messy. And trust me, things will get messy. You'll have days when your motivation is on vacation, days when your goals feel too big, days when you consider abandoning everything and becoming a forest hermit. Completely normal. That's the human experience. But when you have a clear vision, you don't stay stuck. You don't curl into a motivational fetal position. You remember what you're working toward. And that memory, specific, bright, and personal, gives you the extra push to keep going. Vision fuels persistence, the way pizza fuels happiness. Now, goal setting doesn't mean writing a 47-step plan with color-coded markers, unless you're into that. No judgment. It means breaking down your vision into actionable pieces, like little mini missions. Big goals become small steps. Start a business becomes research ideas. Then create a plan. Then tell myself I'm not an imposter, then actually launch the thing. When you chunk it down, the impossible becomes doable. And when it's doable, you feel motivated to start. Goals turn dreams into tasks. Tasks turn into progress. Progress turns into momentum, and momentum, that's when you start feeling like the main character. There's also something powerful about writing down your goals, not typing them in your phone next to your grocery list. Actually writing them. There's something about seeing your goals in your own handwriting that makes them feel real. It's like signing a contract with yourself. Nothing legally binding, but you feel like you just committed to something important. Research even shows people who write down their goals are way more likely to achieve them, probably because they stop forgetting what they said they wanted in the first place. And here's the thing about having a vision. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to know every detail of your future. You just need a direction that excites you. Think of it like setting your GPS to a city. You don't need the exact street address yet. You'll refine the details as you move. Vision doesn't demand perfection. It demands honesty. What do you want your life to feel like? What do you want to wake up to? What do you want to work toward that makes you feel proud or energized or alive? That feeling becomes the fuel that keeps you going long after your initial motivation fades. Because motivation will fade. It's like a house guest that shows up excited, eats all your snacks, and disappears as soon as life gets inconvenient. Persistence, on the other hand, sticks around. Persistence shows up even on the days you don't feel like it. And the only way persistence survives the hard days is with vision. When you can picture your future clearly, you don't rely on motivation. You rely on intention. You rely on purpose. You rely on the mental image of what you're becoming. And honestly, there's something deeply satisfying in watching yourself move closer to your goals, even step by tiny step. You start feeling proud not because you're at the finish line, but because you're actually moving. You're making choices that align with the person you want to be. You're not wandering. You're not guessing. You're not drifting like a balloon someone let go of at a birthday party. You're going somewhere, on purpose. Vision and goal setting don't guarantee that your path will be easy, but they guarantee that your struggle will be meaningful. You'll know why you're pushing, why you're showing up, why you're trying, and why you're refusing to settle. They turn your life from random chaos into a mission with checkpoints and a destination you genuinely care about. So yeah, get a vision, set some goals, create your personal roadmap, even if it's a little scribbly at first. And when things get tough, and they will, close your eyes, visualize the finish line, and remind yourself, I'm headed somewhere on purpose. That's the kind of clarity that turns persistence into power and dreams into a reality you can actually drive toward, preferably without ending up in a cornfield this time.
You ever notice how the people who seem to have it all together always swear their life changed because of some tiny habit? Like they'll say, everything got better once I started waking up at 5 a.m., while you're over here trying to negotiate with your alarm clock like it's a hostile hostage situation. But here's the thing. They're not lying. The biggest difference between people who only dream about success and the people who actually achieve it usually comes down to a handful of small, boring, consistent daily habits. Not the flashy stuff, not the sudden transformation Hollywood montages, just tiny routines stacked on top of each other like Lego blocks until, boom, you've built a life you're actually proud of. Let's talk about waking up early. I know, it sounds like punishment. But before you roll your eyes, let me clarify. Waking up early isn't magic because of the hour, it's magic because of the peace, the silence, the lack of chaos, the absence of that frantic, I'm already behind feeling. When you wake up before the world starts demanding things from you, you get a pocket of time that's yours. Time to think, time to breathe, time to prepare, instead of scrambling like you're competing in some Olympic sport called trying to get ready in 15 minutes while mentally panicking. Early mornings give you a head start, not because waking up at sunrise gives you superhero powers, but because it gives you space to actually act instead of react. Then there's exercise. Not the train like a Navy SEAL type of exercise, just moving your body in a way that doesn't make you hate life. A walk, a workout, stretching, dancing in your kitchen like you're auditioning for a music video, anything. Exercise is one of those habits that feels like a chore, but acts like rocket fuel. It wakes up your brain. It boosts your mood. It makes your energy levels stop acting like a phone battery stuck at 3%. Successful people don't exercise because they're obsessed with suffering. They exercise because it sets the tone for their entire day. When you start your morning by doing something that takes discipline, the rest of the day feels easier by comparison. Plus, you get to enjoy that smug feeling of, I worked out today, even if your workout was basically just you moving your body slightly faster than usual. And then you've got journaling. You don't have to be a poet or a deep thinker or someone who collects fancy leather-bound notebooks. Journaling is basically brain maintenance. You dump out the mental clutter, your thoughts, goals, frustrations, ideas, random worries about whether the waiter hated you last night, and suddenly your mind feels like someone just opened a window and let the fresh air in. Successful people journal because it keeps them clear, focused, less chaotic. If your brain is a messy closet, journaling is the habit that helps you stop tripping over old thoughts every time you open the door. Planning is another one of those simple but powerful habits. And no, planning doesn't have to mean creating a color-coded vision board with motivational stickers and glitter pens. Planning just means you decide what matters before the day starts trying to distract you. It's choosing your priorities so the day doesn't choose them for you. When you plan, you're not just reacting to whatever pops up, you're steering, you're intentional. You're less likely to end the day wondering, what did I even do? Because you actually know what you meant to do. Planning is basically future you looking out for present you because past you was tired of your nonsense. What people don't tell you is that habits don't feel good at first. They're awkward, inconvenient, uncomfortable. Your brain will negotiate, complain, make excuses, throw tantrums, and suggest 20 better things you could be doing. But if you hang in there, something amazing happens. Habits get easier. Your brain stops arguing, the routine becomes familiar, and suddenly, those small daily actions feel less like chores and more like a lifestyle that quietly supports you. Successful people are not successful because they do giant heroic things every day. They're successful because they've built small habits that help them show up consistently, especially on the days when they don't feel motivated. Dreamers wait for inspiration. Achievers create momentum. Dreamers hope things get better. Achievers form routines that make things better. Habits are the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. And the cool part? You build that bridge one tiny plank at a time. And these habits stack. When you wake up early, you feel calm. When you exercise, you feel energized. When you journal, you feel clear. When you plan, you feel prepared. Stack all that day after day, and suddenly you're not just surviving your life, you're directing it. You start to notice changes. You feel more focused, more confident,
more intentional. Nothing dramatic, just steady improvement. And steady is a superpower. Steady beats talented. Steady beats lucky. Steady beats anyone who's only consistent when they're in the mood. The funny part is that your life doesn't change in one big moment. It changes in 100 tiny moments that look completely unremarkable. Waking up early one day doesn't change your life. Doing it for 90 days does. One workout doesn't transform you. Daily movement does. Writing down your thoughts one time won't make you a philosopher. Journaling regularly will make you more self-aware. Planning one day ahead won't change much. Planning every day will. Small habits are like quiet agents working behind the scenes, adjusting the script until suddenly the whole story is different. And yes, there will be days when you miss a habit. Days when life gets weird. Days when you oversleep, skip the workout, forget to journal, or plan absolutely nothing. That's fine. Success isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. You don't fail because you missed a day, you fail only if you never get back to it. Habits aren't prison rules, they're tools. Tools you use again and again to build a life that doesn't fall apart every time something unexpected happens. At the end of the day, habits are the secret sauce nobody wants to admit is actually the whole recipe. If goals are the destination and vision is the fuel, habits are the engine. They're what actually move you. They're what turn hope into progress. They're what make your life feel less like a chaotic roller coaster and more like something you're actively shaping. Dreamers wait. Achievers act. And their action, surprise, is usually just habits repeated so many times that the results finally catch up. So yeah, waking up early, exercising, journaling, planning, none of them sound glamorous, but they're the kind of quiet, steady routines that transform your life piece by piece. Not overnight, not instantly, but undeniably. Because success isn't built on occasional inspiration, it's built on daily habits that turn your potential into reality. One small repeatable choice at a time.